Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Dreamfiction and today we will be reading the story The Emperor of Darkness written by Georgethetperson 55. What? Shouted the whole class except Issei and Ingvald. Issei just slammed his head on the table which broke from the impact much to everyone's shock. After the table replacement, Valerica was seated in front of Caddis. She saw that she will be sitting close to Issei which made her smile greatly. Valerica saw Issei's reaction and it looked really funny in her eyes. Time skip. The lunch break started and Issei and the four girls went up to the roof. So I guess this is your surprise? Asked Issei. Yup. Are you happy that I'm here? Asked Valerica with a smirk. Yes, I'm happy, but did you really have to say that you are my second girlfriend? Asked Issei with a sigh. Of course, they have to know that I'm off limits, Valerica simply replied. You could have just said that you don't want any relationship or already are in one, deadpan Issei. Valerica just giggled in response. Plus now that Sona is in college and Zenobia is the president of the student council, all of the guys here became more daring and more perverted as they do not fear Zenobia at all, so from now on I'll have to watch out not only for Ingvald, Mura, Kate, but after you too, said Issei with a tired sigh. Don't worry, you can show them who's superior here and everyone will not only fear you but listen to every one of your orders, said Valerica with a confident smirk. Actually that might work, said Issei as he started to think about it while the girls introduced to each other. Hello, I'm Murayama. And I'm Caddis. We are Issei's friends, introduced both girls. Hello, I'm Valerica, I hope that you aren't trying to get these girls into your harem, Issei said Valerica. Both girls blushed. And no, I'm not trying to get any girls. It just happened somehow, said Issei as Valerica's statement got Issei's attention. By the way girls, I didn't expect your reactions to be so calm hearing that Issei has a second girlfriend, said Valerica. Well, we know that Issei has 3 girlfriends, Ingvald told us, replied Caddis. Issei and Valerica looked amused at Ingvald. Sorry, I didn't mean to. It's alright, Haim, said Issei as he gave her a reassuring smile, making Ingvald immediately calm. Will you be living with us, Val? Asked Issei, already knowing the answer. Of course, I will be living with you. And where will you sleep? Asked Issei. That's a stupid question, Issei. Of course, I'll be sleeping with you as well, replied Valerica. What made you fall in love with him anyway? Asked curious Murayama out of the blue. Well, he's really caring, brave, gentle, strong, and handsome, said Valerica with a smile. The girls had to agree, Issei truly became handsome, he was befire to some extent, but no, he looks like a god of beauty. How did you meet? Asked Caddis. One night I was walking home, but suddenly 2 big guys grabbed me into the alleyway. They wanted to use me, but I let out one single scream and Issei came and beat the crap out of those guys. He saved me from near death or at least a deep trauma, replied Valerica. Of course, that was a lie, and the funny thing was that Valeric saved Issei from near death when he activated the Juggernaut drive. The 2 girls were shocked that Issei could be so brave and strong. The pervert changed so much, thought Caddis and Murayama. The bell rang and all 5 of them went back to class. Time skip. After class was over they all walked together until Issei suggested something. You girls can go and hang out, I have some business to attend to, said Issei. With who? Asked Valerica. Han and Issei simply replied. Alright, when will you return? Asked Ingvald. I'll come back for dinner, said Issei. Alright, have fun, said Issei as he went in the opposite direction from the girls. Who's Tannen? Asked Murayama. He's one of the friends that Issei has, he's really a nice and fun guy, said Valerica. The girls then went to have fun while went in an alleyway and teleported into Tannen's cave. There he met Tannen and Bova. Well? Do you have it? Asked Issei. Yes, here it is, replied Tannen as he gave Issei a purple orb much darker than Tannen's, almost black like shadows. Issei placed the orb on his chest like with others and absorbed the soul of Vitra. Issei sat down and transferred his consciousness into the gear. There he saw Drag, Al, Tiamat, Tannen, and a large black eastern dragon with violet eyes and 3rd eye on his forehead. He possessed 7 light purple tentacles growing at the back of his body. Who are you? And what do you want? Asked Vitra. My name is Issei Haidu and I'm the Red Dragon Emperor. I need to borrow your strength, replied Issei seriously. Why do you need me when you already have 2 heavenly dragons and 2 strongest dragon kings? Asked Vitra. I need all the strength of dragons to kill Trahixa, replied Issei. Interesting goal, fine, but you'll get my powers only when you'll defeat me in battle, said Vitra. Alright, Drag and the rest you can go and watch some TV, said Issei. Vitra was confused. You have a TV here? Asked Vitra. Of course, it's my mindscape so I give the best comfort for them, soon you'll join them, said Issei confidently. Vitra smirked and got ready for the battle. Issei only activated his boosted gear. They got ready and charged at each other while Issei boosted. Issei got the first punch into Vritra's head and sent him flying. Issei didn't waste any time and shot a powerful dragon shot. Vitra somehow managed to escape his dragon shot and Issei realized that he was using shadows to get out of the way. Vitra suddenly appeared from behind and sent Issei flying, he then proceeded with a fire breath which hit Issei. But to his surprise, Issei was already in his balance breaker. "Not bad," said Issei. "But how about this," said Issei as he launched a weak blazing inferno scorching flames in Vritra's direction. Vitra felt those flames before and knew they were no joke as those flames were dregs. He immediately dodged, not wanting to get hit by the most powerful flames in the world. When Vitra dodged, he didn't expect Issei to be right there. Issei uppercut Vitra and launched him into the air. Issei then kicked Vitra from above and sent him to the ground, scattering it in the process creating a small crater where Vitra was exhausted and damaged. "Issei Haidu, you proved yourself worthy of my help. I shall help you with everything you need, partner," said Vitra as he got out of the crater. "Alright, now go join the others and rest for a bit," said Issei as he returned to the real world. As he opened his eyes he was met with Valerica's blue shining eyes staring at him. Issei looked unfazed by the sudden scare, but from the inside, he died a bit from the sudden encounter. "I think I just lost some more of my life force," thought Issei. "Hey, what are you doing here?" asked Issei. "I was waiting for you to finish your training," answered Valerica. "I said that I'll come back for dinner," said Issei. "You've been here for a whole night," Issei deadpanned Valerica. "What?" shouted Issei as he stood up. "Yeah, you've been here for the whole night and didn't come back. Me and Ingvild got worried and I decided to check up on you, then I met Tannen, he said that you were training," said Valerica as she hugged Issei. "I guess I was caught up in our fight," thought Issei. "It's alright Val, let's just go home," said Issei. Suddenly they heard Tannen's voice from behind. "Did it work?" asked Tannen about Vitra. "Yeah it did," said Issei. "What worked?" asked Valiana curiously. I learned how to use Drake's flames." "Yeah that's it," said Issei. Issei didn't want Valerica to know about his plan about getting dragon souls and killing Trihixa just yet because she will worry way too much. "Well old man, we are leaving then," said Issei as he created a magic circle and teleported himself and Valerica back home. It was morning already and 1 hour before school. He wasn't that tired because when he is in his mindscape it's like sleeping for him on the outside. The trio went to school while the two maidens hugged Issei's arms from the sides. When they reached the school they received uncomfortable stares of lust and jealousy from the boys, but when Issei glared back they immediately got turned away from fear, while all of the girls blushed as Issei showed his dominance. Issei now has 2 nicknames, one is the Fallen that was given by the girls knowing his situation, and the boys called him the Dragon of Death, as they can't forget the time they saw a dragon behind Issei, they were scared of Issei way too much. Issei has repaired his reputation in school, but Issei didn't care about that, he was more focused on getting stronger. He plans to go and ask Azazel for Fafnir's soul and go to Kyoto to get Yulong's soul fragment tomorrow. While Issei was lost in his thoughts he didn't even notice he was already in class sitting in his seat while the 4 girls looked at him worried. "Issei, are you okay?" asked Ingvild. "Yeah you've been spaced out and didn't even talk since you came here," the next one spoke, Murayama. "Oh, sorry I was just lost in thought," replied Issei. "Is something wrong that made you space out so much?" asked Cadis. "No everything is fine really," replied Issei trying to get out of the situation somehow. "Okay if you say so," said Valerica still not fully convinced. The class started and Issei as always didn't pay any attention as he was thinking of a plan on how to defeat not only the beast but the Chaos Brigade too and any possible threats to his loved ones or dragon faction. Now that he will be a leader he has to make sure that they will only grow stronger. But Issei started to overthink and started to stress over the days. Greg didn't want to wait any longer. "Partner, don't overdo it, you need to take a break. If you keep working like this all your plans and efforts will fail," said Drake as he was concerned for his partner. "Alright Drake, if you say so, but I'll still train when I'm asleep," said Issei. "That's good enough for me," answered Drake. So Issei decided to stop thinking about the problems. During the lunch break, they ate at their usual spot. They just talked about normal stuff and the girls saw Issei more relaxed and he talked more than usual. This sight made the 4 girls happy. After the class, Valerica, Murayama and Cadis went home as Issei and Ingvild went on a date. They had a lot of fun together. They returned home almost the same time as he returned from the date with Valerica. Issei spent the whole night in his mindscape training with Vitra. He can manipulate shadows and create something like shadow chains and use Vitra's shadow flames. He mastered all of Tannen's powers already and made a lot of progress with Tiamat's powers. He can use ice magic and ice breath. So right now he has both fire, ice, and shadow affinities. Issei decided that he won't go to school tomorrow as he wanted to relax, so what's a better place than Kyoto? He wanted to visit Kunu and Yasaka because he hadn't seen them in a while. Plus he might get another soul fragment if he is lucky enough. When the morning came he told his girls that he won't go to school today as he wanted to relax a bit, so he decided to go to Kyoto for a few days. The girls had no problems with it and left him alone. Issei formed a magic circle near his ear and called Azazel. He wanted to get Fafnir first. Yo greeted Azazel. "Hey Azazel, can we meet up for a couple of minutes?" asked Issei. "Sure kiddo, where you at?" asked Azazel. "I'm in my house in Cow, and by the way take Fafnir with yourself," said Issei. "Alright, but why do you need Fafnir?" asked curious Azazel. "I'll explain everything to you, but I don't have much time, so I'll give you the short version when you come," said Issei. "Alright, I'll be there in a moment," said Azazel as the magic circle disappeared. After 5 minutes Azazel teleported into Issei's living room. "Here's Fafnir. Now explain," said Azazel. "I'm collecting Dragon King souls right now. I have Tannins, Tiamats and Albion soul fragments, Fafnir, Drake and Vitra. I'll go to Kyoto to get Yulong soul fragment. I need all these dragons to get all the power to kill Trihexa because we both know the Chaos Brigade will release it," explained Issei. Azazel was shocked but understood his plans and reasoning. Besides, he couldn't change his mind at this point anyways. "Plus I'm building a faction. I trust you a lot, you're like a second father to me, so I believe that I can tell you about my plans. Not a lot of people know, so I hope you keep it a secret," said Issei. This piqued Azazel's curiosity. "What kind of faction are you talking about?" asked Azazel. "Dragon faction. And I'll be the leader of the faction, we already got a decent amount of lands," said Issei. "Dragon faction. Damn, that's great, I'll support you with anything you need. You can consider us your allies," said Azazel proudly. "I only needed to borrow Fafnir, but got the whole alliance with the fallen angels as well, their support. I call this day a success," said Issei as he and Azazel chuckled. "Yeah, how are you holding up? You really scared me that night," asked Azazel. "I'm doing better," replied Issei. "If you need any more help don't hesitate to ask," said Azazel. "Sure Azazel," replied Issei. "Alright kiddo, I have to get back to Grigori, I have a lot of work to do, so I'll see you later," said Azazel as he left via magic circle. Issei then called another person. "Hello?" answered the said person. "Hey Yusaka, I just wanted to let you know that I'm coming to Kyoto today," said Issei. "Oh, Issei, did Rias send you on some kind of mission?" asked Yusaka. Issei flinched at the mention of Rias. "And no, I just want to relax a bit and maybe talk with Sun Wukong about something if that's possible," said Issei. Yusaka immediately noticed Issei's change of mood at the mention of the redeed. "Okay, we will be waiting at the train station, Kunu really missed you a lot," said Yusaka. "Yeah, I miss her too," replied Issei. "Well, I'll be going then, see you at the station," said Issei as he disconnected from the call and went to his room to pack some clothes for the weekend. Later he made his way to the train station and got a ticket to Kyoto. After a couple of minutes, the train started to move and Issei just closed his eyes and entered his mindscape to train a bit while traveling to Kyoto. As the train reached the station in Kyoto, Issei got out of the train and saw Yusaka smiling and Kunu running towards him while shouting his name. "Issei!" shouted Kunu as she hugged Issei. Issei hugged her back. And with that, his short vacation started. "Issei!" shouted Kunu while hugging Issei. "Hey, Kunu. I missed you. Why didn't you come back for so long?" whined Kunu. "I had some problems to take care of," replied Issei. "What kind of problems?" asked Kunu, tilting her head cutely. "It's nothing," replied Issei, not wanting to talk about it. "Well then, shall we go?" asked Yusaka from behind with a kind smile. "Sure," replied Issei as he lifted Kunu and carried her on his shoulders. "I'm so high up." "Then get used to it, I'll be doing this for at least 3 days, we'll do anything you want." "Really?" "Yep. So get ready," said Issei. Yusaka just watched from behind Issei's and her daughter's interaction. It made her so happy to see Kunu this happy. She never had a father, so to see Issei acting as a father figure to Kunu made Yusaka extremely happy. After reaching their destination, Yusaka showed Issei's room and after that, Kunu wanted to go and spend time with Issei. "Mom? Can I and Issei go outside? I want to show him places that only the supernatural can enter," asked Kunu her mother with puppy eyes. Yusaka only giggled and looked at Issei, who only nodded with a smile. "Alright, you can go, but come back for dinner." "Yay. Let's go, Issei. We will have so much fun." "Alright, you want me to carry you on my shoulders again?" "Yes please," replied Kunu. Issei picked up Kunu and carried her on his shoulders while Yusaka watched them leave with a big smile. "Thank you, Issei," whispered Yusaka to herself. As Issei and Kunu walked through the streets, people looked at them with smiles. Kunu and Issei first went sightseeing around the area. They went to a restaurant where they ate breakfast because Issei didn't have any today, talked about different things while they were eating. "Why are you so different now? Your eyes are red instead of the brown ones," asked Kunu confused. Well, I'm a dragon now, and I'm like a brother of Drake and Albion, so I have their similarities, replied Issei. What about your hair? Asked Kunu. Same thing here, both of the heavenly dragons had a big influence on my appearance, answered Issei. That's cool. Exclaimed Kunu. Everything was going well until Kunu said something that made Issei freeze. I hope next time you will bring Auntie Irina. She's fun to play with too, said Kunu as she took another bite of her meal. Issei just remembered that Irina was sent to heaven that day because Michael needed Irina's help for some kind of project. How will Irina react to what happened to Issei? What will she do? What will she think? He knew that Irina cares about him. Issei cares about Irina too, that's why he doesn't want her to fall because of her negative thoughts. He wondered where she was now, what she'll do when she'll return. Are you alright? Asked Kunu, sounding concerned. Oh yeah, I'm fine, what is it? Well, I was trying to snap you out of your thoughts for the past 10 minutes. Come on, we don't have that much time left before we'll have to return home, said Kunu as she stood up from her seat. Alright, let's go. They went sightseeing some more and went back home because it was getting dark already. Kunu seemed happy the whole day, but when they were walking back she looked kinda down. Do you want us tomorrow to spend some time together again? Asked Issei. Kunu's eyes lit up with excitement. Of course. Replied Kunu with excitement. They got back home and ate dinner together. Yusaka informed Issei about something while they were eating. By the way, Ice, tomorrow Sun Wukong will come to Kyoto to talk about something with me, so I think he can spare you some of his time too, said Yusaka. Understood, thanks, replied Issei. They finished their dinner and went to their rooms. Issei sat at the edge of the bed to get his thoughts together until someone knocked on the door. Once Issei looked up at the door, he saw Yusaka standing there. You need something? Asked Issei. I want to talk. What about? Asked curious Issei. What happened to you? Issei flinched at her question but decided to play dumb. What do you mean what happened to me? I'm perfectly fine, replied Issei. Don't lie, Issei, I can see that you act differently, you don't even look at my breasts, you changed so much, and I'm not talking about your completely new look, said Yusaka. Issei felt ashamed for ogling at Yusaka's figure. Plus we Yaokai can feel the emotions of the person with Senjutsu, your aura sometimes leaks, and I feel that you are hurting. Just tell me what's wrong, and I'll try to help you, said Yusaka as she sat beside him. I don't know, what can you even do about it? Ingvild, Valerica, and 2 other girls in my school are trying to help me already, of course, it's working to some extent. Kunu helps me too, even without her knowing. Recently I realized that I love children. Kunu makes me so happy when I see her smiling and having fun with me, it's like she's my daughter is. That what it feels like to be a parent? Said Issei. Yusaka didn't expect Issei to say something like this, but was extremely happy nonetheless. I'm glad that you are already recovering, but I still want to know what happened, said Yusaka. I was stabbed in the back, said Issei. By who? Asked Yusaka. My former girlfriends, replied Issei with a shaky voice. What do you mean by former? What did they do to you? Asked Yusaka with concern. After the graduation of Riaz and her queen, we had a party at my house with Orc, Saraerg, Riser, and Saji. I left the party at night and went to Grigori to get the rings with Kiba that I made with the help of Azazel and Kiba. I wanted to propose to my girlfriends, but that didn't go as planned at all. Upon entering my room, I saw everyone in my bed sleeping while Riser and Akeno were still at it, said Issei as he laughed at his misfortune. Yusaka hugged him tightly as she was deeply disappointed by the girl's actions. It's alright, it's over now, you have those other girls and friends to help and support you now, said Yusaka with a calming voice. Valerica saved me from death. I almost died because of a dragon curse which only dragons get when their mates die or betray them, and I even activated the Juggernaut drive for the 2nd time, said Issei. Yusaka kept hugging for a couple of minutes until Issei suddenly fell asleep. Yusaka laid Issei down and left him to sleep while she returned to her room, but unknown to them someone overheard their talk. He thinks of me as his daughter? Whispered Kunu to herself with a smile that quickly disappeared. He went through so much, I will help him with everything I got, said Kunu with determination. She quickly opened the door to Issei's room and saw him still shedding some tears even when he was asleep. Kunu walked over to him and laid beside him, and Issei instinctively wrapped his arms around Kunu while still asleep. Somehow this helped Issei to stop crying and even made him smile. The next morning arrived and Issei opened his eyes as the sun shone at his face. Feeling someone beside him, he looked down and saw Kunu sleeping with him. She looked cute asleep. He didn't know why she was in his bed but decided not to wake her up. He slowly got up, but Kunu grabbed his wrist while still asleep. Dad, whispered Kunu. Issei froze upon hearing what Kunu said. Issei turned his head towards Kunu to see her still sleeping. He smiled and got back into the bed to sleep some more as he let her fluffy tail wrap around his body. After an hour Issei woke up again, but this time Kunu was awake too. Morning, pumpkin, said Issei. Morning da Issei replied Kunu. Not that it bothers me, but why are you here? Asked Issei. Well, I just couldn't sleep last night so I decided to come here replied Kunu. I'm sorry, I won't do it. Aga Kunu tried to apologize until Issei stopped her. It's fine Kunu, don't worry. I understand. If you want to sleep here, you can come and sleep, it's no big deal said Issei as he smiled warmly at Kunu. She immediately hugged Issei out of pure happiness. Later they went to the living room and saw Yusaka waiting for them to join her for breakfast. Morning, you two slept well? Asked Yusaka. Yep, like a rock said Issei. Yes, replied Kunu. They sat down and started eating their breakfast. By the way, thank you for yesterday thanked Issei as he looked at Yusaka. It's no problem, I'm just glad that I was able to help you, at least a little replied Yusaka with a smile. They finished their breakfast and Yusaka informed Issei about Sun Wukong's arrival. Sun Wukong will arrive about at dinner time, so if you want to meet him, return home by then said Yusaka. Alright, thank you thanked Issei as he and Kunu left. Issei and Kunu went for a walk in the forest where a waterfall was located. Look. Isn't it beautiful? Asked Kunu. Sure is replied Issei as he looked at the waterfall as it calmed him a little. Hey, you like spending time with me right? Asked Kunu. Of course I do, why are you asking? Asked confused Issei. What if we went to play with my other friends too? Asked Kunu. Well, I don't mind. If you want to we can play with others, said Issei with a smile. Alright then, let's go back to the temple, some kids are living there too. Said Kunu. Why haven't I seen any? Asked Issei. Because they are mostly outside playing answered Kunu. Makes sense I guess said Issei. As they reached the temple they went around it. Behind the temple was a small beautiful forest with 5 girls playing. Hey! Shouted Kunu. Everyone looked at Kunu and saw that she was not alone. Hi, Kunu, who's this? Asked one of the girls. He's the Red Dragon Emperor and we came to play replied Kunu with joy. The rest of the girls came too, interested in what they will be playing with the Red Dragon Emperor they heard so much about. So what are we playing then? Asked another girl. Everyone looked at Issei and saw Issei's smile turn into a smirk. You better run said Issei. Everyone looked at him confused. But why? Asked Kunu. Because this hungry dragon will eat you all. Roared Issei as he spread his wings and started to run at the girls. The girls screamed and laughed at the same time as they ran away from Issei. After some time Issei caught one girl and started to tickle her making her laugh so much that some of the adults heard from behind the windows of the temple. Those adults were the mothers of the girls. They saw Issei playing with the girls and made the women smile. I caught you. Now you're a dragon. You have to help me catch the others too said Issei. Haha alright ha 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 said the girl as she still couldn't control her laughter. Both of them went to search for other girls and after an hour of playing, they found all of the girls except for Kunu. Suddenly the mothers of the girls called for them to come back. The girls said their goodbyes to Issei and left. Alright, Kunu. You can come out already. Called out Issei. Kunu. Kunu, come out already. We're done playing. Shouted Issei but she still hasn't came out. Issei started to panic. He flew into the sky to look for her from above but once again nothing. What happened to Kunu? What will Yusaka think of Issei now? Partner. You have to focus said Drag. He's right partner, just use that searching skill that you learned from Tiamat said Vitra. Alright replied Issei as he flared his aura. By flaring his aura he can detect the people he needs if he felt their aura once. Suddenly Issei found Kunu quite far now with 5 other figures. Issei descended back onto the ground and used a shadow under a tree to teleport to the location. As Issei came out of the shadows 5 figures stopped running in front of him with Kunu in one of the guy's hands with a tape on her mouth. Give her back said Issei calmly as he held his rage. And why should we boy, you better not interfere or you'll die. Just get out of our way said one of the kidnappers. And why do you need the princes? Asked Issei. That is none of your damn business you dumbus. Replied the other. Issei released his wings and the kidnappers started to fear Issei because everyone knew that dragons were crazy powerful. Issei was now boiling with rage. He flared his aura and the group suddenly fell to their knees, barely able to breathe except for Kunu. His aura only affects the ones he wants to be affected. He learned this skill from Fafnir last night. Issei grabbed Kunu and took the tape away. You okay Kunu? Asked Issei worriedly. Yeah I'm fine, don't worry replied Kunu with a smile. Issei then teleported Kunu back into the temple while he stayed. Tell me who is the leader of the Chaos Brigade? Asked Issei. How did you find out? Well that's kind of their style replied Issei. So answer my question now. We won't tell you. Shouted one of them. Wrong answer said Issei with a mixed voice of his and Drake's and burned him to ash with Drake's flames which burned him slowly while he was screaming in agony. Good thing Issei put a barrier around them. Everyone now trembled out of pure fear. I'll ask again. Who is the leader? Please don't kill us. We'll tell you. Just have mercy, said the other guy. Spill it, said Issei. It's Rizavum Live and Lucifer, replied the guy. Issei's paused momentarily from shock. What do you mean, Lucifer? Asked Issei. We accidentally found out from Cao Cao the other day, he is a pure-blood Satan-class devil who was believed to be killed by the White Dragon Empress long ago, as she used her sacred gear to kill him when she was a child, but he faked his death as she wasn't strong enough as a kid to actually kill him. He is her grandfather, replied the guy. Grandfather? Was he the one Valerica told me about a month ago? Though Issei. About a month ago Valerica told Issei that she had a grandfather who killed her parents and tortured her just because her father fell in love with a human woman and gave birth to a hybrid. What is he planning to do? Asked Issei. We don't know, we are low rank there, so they don't tell us everything, we were only lucky enough to find out who the leader is, said the other guy. Alright, I'll spare you because you gave me valuable information, said Issei, giving hope to the pests. The brigade members sighed, thinking they dodged a bullet there. So I shall kill you painlessly, said Issei as chains of shadows wrapped around them. While they tried to stop Issei, but it was too late, he froze them in ice and with a dragon shot obliterated them with no trace of them even existing. Issei sighed and teleported back to the temple. To be continued. Chapter 14. As Issei teleported back to the temple, a small figure instantly latched onto Issei with a strong hug. Thank you for saving me. Cried out Kunu. It's okay, Kunu, everything is fine. I won't let anyone hurt you again, said Issei as he hugged her back. Issei then looked at Yusaka, expecting her to yell at him, but instead of that, she talked to him calmly. I'm not mad at you, Issei, everything is fine, Kunu is safe, and that's what matters, said Yusaka calmly with a smile. But it was my fault in the first place that she got kidnapped, I was supposed to look after her, said Issei as he looked away in shame. It's not your fault. No one knew that would happen, said Yusaka. It's fine, I'm just happy that you came for me. That shows just how much you care for me, said Kunu as she hugged Issei again. Of course, I do care about you, Pumpkin, said Issei with a smile. Now then, Issei, I want you to come with me, Sun Wukong is here, said Yusaka. Alright, replied Issei. Can I come too? Asked Kunu. Yusaka looked at Issei for approval, but Issei answered Kunu himself. Sorry, Pumpkin, but not this time. We need to have a really serious talk, said Issei as he patted her head. Kunu pouted with her crossed arms, even her tail swayed in an unhappy manner, but complied nonetheless. Just wait for me in my room, I know that you want to sleep with me again anyway, said Issei as he and Yusaka left. Kunu had literal happiness shining across her face as she sprinted towards Issei's room. Issei already had a barrier set in his room so that the only ones that can enter are the ones he lets in himself. Issei and Yusaka entered another room where they saw Sun Wukong smoking his pipe. Ah, Security boy, said Sun Wukong. That's me, old monkey, said Issei with a smirk. Sun Wukong just laughed at his nickname before getting to business. So what is it that you want to talk about, boy? Asked Sun Wukong. Chaos Brigade plans on releasing the Beast of the Apocalypse. Rizavum Live and Lucifer, a Satan-class devil who was presumed dead, is leading the Chaos Brigade, said Issei. What? Are you sure, Issei, panicked Yusaka. Yes, I'm sure, we need to get stronger for the final fight, said Issei. So you want me to train you or something? Asked Sun Wukong. No, not this time, I have plenty of trainers and I might get another one tonight, said Issei with a tired sigh. But how do you know that Rizavum is still alive? Asked Yusaka. The ones that kidnapped Kunu today were from the Chaos Brigade. Before I killed them I asked who the leader was and they said Rizavum wasn't actually killed, replied Issei. So what are you saying? Asked Sun Wukong. Right now I and Tannen are building a faction which I'll be the leader of pretty soon, said Issei. That's interesting, said Sun Wukong. So you want us to be your allies? Asked Sun Wukong. That would be great, but I wanted to talk to you about something more in private, said Issei as he looked at Yusaka. She understood what he meant and left them both alone. So what do you need? Asked Sun Wukong again. I need you long soul fragment, replied Issei. For what purpose exactly? Asked Sun Wukong curiously. I'm collecting Dragon King soul fragments. Right now I have Tiamat's, Tannen's, and Albion's soul fragments, Fafnir's, Vitra's and of course Drake souls, explained Issei. Alright, but what's the purpose of all this? Asked Sun Wukong. To kill Trahexa once and for all, said Issei. You one crazy kid, but considering that you already have this many souls you won't back down now, said Sun Wukong with a smirk. That's right, replied Issei firmly. Alright, you will return to Kuo tomorrow, right? So then, by tomorrow you will get the soul fragment, said Sun Wukong as he teleported away. Issei stood up and left the room. He walked towards his room. As he entered his room he saw Kunu already sleeping in his bed, but he saw another figure sitting on the edge of the bed. Aim for more hugs? Asked Issei amused. The office only nodded as Issei walked over to her and wrapped his arms around her, bringing her closer. The office hugged Issei back with a small smile, and soon enough she fell asleep because it was warm and comfortable in Issei's embrace. Issei just chuckled as he laid her down next to Kunu and laid down as well before falling asleep. In his mindscape, Issei talked with Drake for a bit before he started his training. "So you still going with this plan, killing the beast I mean?" asked Drake. "Of course I have no other choice. You might die and a lot of people will be devastated by your death, including the little girl," said Drake. "I know, but that's the price I'm willing to pay if they stay safe," Drake replied Issei. "Alright, I just wanted to make sure that you won't chicken out," said Drake with a smirk. "Boy. I'm a dragon, not a fried chicken," shouted Issei. "By the way, how are you feeling?" asked Drake. "Pretty good. Kunu brings me so much joy and calms me down in a way," said Issei as he smiled. "That's good. You almost stopped using divine dividing to divide your emotions. It's the third day without it, even when you told what happened to Yasaka," said Drake, happy because Issei was getting over the dark past. "Yeah, you're right, that's good. Well, I'm off to train," said Issei as he walked away to start his training. Drake didn't want his best host, best friend, and brother to die. That's why he was questioning Issei all the time to see if he was serious or not, because if not he will surely die. Dimmer skip. The next morning as Issei opened his eyes he was met by a bizarre sight that was Kunu and Office staring at each other. The scene was cute and amusing at the same time. "What's happening here?" asked Issei. "Who is she?" Issei asked Kunu. "The Office," replied Issei. "The dragon god of infinity," Office shouted Kunu from the pure shock she felt. "Yep, she's my friend," answered Issei as Office hugged him. "But why is she hugging you?" asked Kunu. "She loves hugs," replied Issei. Kunu then suddenly hugged both Issei and Office. "I love hugs too," said Kunu with a smile as her fluffy tails wrapped around the two. "Then how about you become a friend of Office too?" asked Issei. "Really?" shouted excited Kunu. "Yeah, how about it, Office?" asked Issei. "Sure," replied Office. "Can I call you Fis?" asked Kunu. Office nodded and hugged Kunu too. Later Office left Issei and Kunu alone. As this was the last day of Issei's stay, Kunu wanted to spend as much time as she could with Issei. She even called the girls from the last time to play. The mothers knew that Issei is capable of protecting the girls from what Yasaka had told them. They were surprised to hear that he was the same Red Dragon Emperor who protected Kyoto and won the raiding game. His appearance and actions were completely different. Issei and the girls played different games, but mostly the game that Issei played with them last time. They called that game Hungry Red Dragon. They went to a family restaurant where they ate together, they went to souvenir shops, and Issei bought everything they desired. "For some reason, I love to spoil these girls," thought Issei. "I wonder why," chuckled Drake. Issei had a bunch of money from his show for kids that he hates as much as Drake. The girls were extremely happy to spend time with Issei and they didn't want it to end. But sadly all things have to an end eventually. But until then, they just had fun with Issei. The local Yaokei saw Issei having fun with the girls and made them happy. They even saw how much Issei cared for the girls, as one of the girls fell when some human scum pushed her and didn't even react, but before that human could walk off Issei grabbed him by the shoulder. "Are you going to just walk off without apologizing?" asked furious Issei. "And what you gonna do about it?" mocked the guy, clearly a scumbag. This said Issei as he knocked the lights out of the guy. The girls just hugged Issei as they stuck out their tongues. Issei and the girls spent the whole day together having fun, but Issei had to return because his train was leaving soon. So Issei came back to the temple and gave the happy girls back to their mothers. Issei said his goodbyes, but what they said back to him he didn't expect at all, nor did the mothers. "Goodbye and we hope you'll return soon, Dad," shouted the girls as they hugged Issei. Issei's eyes widened and looked at the mothers expecting to see some mad faces, but instead, he saw the mothers crying tears of joy. Issei and Kunu went back to Issei's room for his bag. "Ready to go?" asked Yasaka standing at the doorway. "Yep," replied Issei as he walked towards her. Yasaka, Kunu and Issei went to the train station, but before Issei could say his goodbyes and leave, Sun Wukong came with a small box. "Sekiruite boy, take this box, inside you'll find the thing you asked for," said Sun Wukong as he handed out the box. Issei took the box and put it into his bag. "Well, I'll get going then," said Issei. "Have a safe trip," said Yasaka with a smile. "And come back soon, Dad," said Kunu. Yasaka and Sun Wukong had their jaws dropped, but Issei just smiled and hugged Kunu before giving a peck on her forehead. Issei entered the train and after a couple of minutes, the train started to move. They waved to him as he did the same and the train left into the distance. "Dad?" asked Yasaka curiously. "Yes, he's our dad," said Kunu happily. Yasaka only smiled the biggest smile and shed some tears of joy. Well, that boy is something else, chuckled Sun Wukong. With Issei. Issei thought that it was time to absorb Yulong's soul fragment. He took a box out of his bag and opened it. Inside he found a bright green orb on a small soft red pillow. He took it out and absorbed it while no one was looking. Later he entered his mindscape to meet Yulong. As he entered he was met with a green Asian dragon. So you are the one that will be my new partner? Asked Yulong. Yep, answered Issei. Alright, what do you need? Asked Yulong lazily. I want you to train me with your powers, said Issei. And what's it in for me? Asked Yulong. You'll be able to watch TV here and eat any food you want. I can do whatever I want here, replied Issei with a smirk. I mean, replied Yulong. Alright, do you want to start right now or later tonight? Asked Issei. Maybe later, said Yulong. Alright, replied Issei. Fafnir, come here, said Issei. As Fafnir came, Issei asked him to train together some more because only 2 nights of training won't do the job. You can go to the others, Yulong, said Issei. He only nodded as he flew away. Could I learn your curse and outrage abilities? Asked Issei. You can learn my curse ability, but I don't know about the outrage, answered Fafnir. That's fine, we will find out sometime later, now let's get started, said Issei. Issei started his training as he had a few hours to spare as he traveled back to Kao. As Issei ended his training he could now use curse ability but was way too weak to be of any use as of yet. As he got out of the train he was met by Valerica and Ingvild waiting for him. Welcome back, Issei, said Ingvild as she hugged and kissed Issei. Yeah, welcome back, said Valerica as she did the same, but her kiss lasted a bit longer. Hello girls, didn't know you were coming to get me, said Issei as they parted from the kiss. Of course, we came, we didn't see you for 3 days, pouted Ingvild. Issei chuckled and patted her head before giving a peck on her forehead. Let's go home then, said Issei. They got back home and had dinner together. After a long day for Issei, he went to sleep with his 2 mates. At night Issei in the gear trained with Yulong. He learned how to use his powerful fire breath that can cause massive destruction. The next morning when they woke up they got ready and left for school. In the classroom, they met Murayama Caddis and Irina standing and talking together. Issei didn't know what to do. He wanted to welcome her back, but he didn't know if she knew what happened to him yet. Irina turned her head towards the 3 and saw Issei with Ingvild's and Valerica's arms wrapped around his arms. Hey, Issei, I've missed you, said Irina cheerfully as she jumped at him and hugged him. He hugged back. I missed you too, Irina, replied Issei. What are you doing with Valerica and this new girl here? Asked Irina as she eyed Valerica suspiciously. Irina didn't know that she was on their side now, but her presence here alone made her think that she was an ally. Well, we Issei didn't get to finish, as Valerica answered for him. We both are Issei's mates, replied Valerica. What? Asked Irina. That's true, Irina, said Issei. What about the others? Asked Irina. They betrayed Issei by sleeping with his friends, this time, replied Ingvild with a hint of anger. What? This can't be true, Issei, right? Asked Irina with a voice filled with utter disbelief. Unfortunately it's true, replied Issei. Those whores, shouted Irina as an intense holy aura spread throughout the whole building, hurting the weaker devils and even shocking the students as they never thought of a moment hearing such words from someone like Irina. Wow, for an angel she has some nice words, I like her already, I think she would be great to your harem, I approve of her, said Valerica amused. Irina heard what Valerica said and blushed madly. I can't believe that Zenobia could do this, my best friend cheated on my crush, said Irina in utter disbelief until she realized what she said. She immediately covered her mouth with her arms. Well, that checks out, then welcome to Red Dragon's harem, said Valerica, while Ingvild giggled and Issei sighed and the males groaned in the back of the class. The bell rang and they went to their seats, starting their school day. When class started, Zenobia and Asia glanced once in a while at Irina, but she glared at them for a few seconds before turning her head away with a scoff. This action made both girls sad. When the lunch break started, Issei and the 5 girls went to their usual spot on the roof. Alright Issei, now explain what happened while I was gone, said Irina, holding her anger and sadness in. Yeah, we want to hear it too. We just know that you were betrayed, but how we do not know, said Caddis. Alright, I'll tell you, replied Issei. It was a party night at my house. I was out because I went to get the rings from my friend, that's right, I wanted to propose to them that night, but when I returned home, I found all of my girlfriends in my bed with my best friends that were like brothers to me. They slept together while I was getting the rings ready to propose to them, but I guess my luck just cursed, said Issei as he looked at the ground. Suddenly Irina hugged Issei and kissed him. Her action shocked Murayama Caddis, even Issei. I'm sorry for not being there for you when you needed me the most, but I promise you that I won't leave you ever again. I always want to be by your side because I love you, whispered Irina. I have always loved you since childhood. I never stopped loving you. Even our first kiss happened when I kissed you while you were asleep, said Irina while crying into Issei's shoulder. Issei hugged her back and started to rub her back, and once Irina calmed down Issei wiped her tears away and looked straight into her eyes. "I love you too, Irina, and I guess it was the right choice to hold on to this," said Issei as he kissed her back before taking something out of his pocket. What he took out shocked the whole group. "This was made specially for you," said Issei as he showed the same ring that Kiba returned to Issei. Irina smiled brightly. "We don't need any rings, dummy, you are enough," said Irina. "Still, I want you to have this." Irina lifted her hand and Issei carefully mounted the ring. "There, it looks good just like I imagined," said Issei. "Are you okay with this?" asked shocked Murayama. "Yes, we are. We just won't let girls like an orc get to Issei, and of course, we won't let too many girls get him," replied Valerica, while Ingvald nodded. "What? Do you want to join his harem? Girls?" teased Ingvald. I wouldn't mind," replied Murayama quietly. Issei heard her because of his enhanced senses and looked at Murayama with wide eyes. Murayama saw Issei's look and understood that he heard what she said. "Well, I was just joking," said Ingvald was a bit shocked. "That was unexpected yet expected at the same time," replied Valerica amused. Irina just giggled. Murayama turned beet red. "How about you, Caddis?" asked Irina. Me too," whispered Caddis. "Alright T, I think it's enough with confessions for me today, but why? I thought you'd never be with someone like me," said Issei. "Remember when you always said you wanted a girlfriend? Well, if you hadn't been a pervert you'd have 2 girlfriends from the very start because we always liked you." Issei, "You weren't always a pervert, you always were gentle, caring, overprotective, and fun. I still remember when you took on all of the boys in the kindergarten that always made fun of us and Irina. But you changed when Irina left," said Caddis. Issei was truly speechless, he never felt so dumb. "Plus that's why we let you peep on us, we even did some lewd poses just for you, we didn't even beat you full force with our kendo sticks," said Murayama. "We wanted you to look just at us," said Caddis. "Haha, funny thing is I always looked just at you too because I always had a huge crush on you, that's the whole reason why I wanted a harem, because I wanted you too in it," confessed Issei. "I was so messed up to turn into a pervert," said Issei ashamed. Both Murayama and Caddis hugged him tightly. "But the real you is back. That's what matters," said Caddis. "We still love you," said Murayama as both of them kissed his cheeks. "But I changed too much, I don't know if you'd still love me if you knew the whole truth about me," replied Issei. Both girls looked at him confused. "What do you mean?" asked Murayama. "I'll show you after school. How about we go to our house after school?" asked Issei. "Sure," replied Caddis. The school bell rang and the group went back to class to continue their boring lessons. After the class, the group got ready for their stuff and left together. They went to Issei's house. When they got there, Murayama, Caddis and Irina went to the living room while Issei went to change his clothes, Valerica and Ingvald went to their room to change their clothes. After they were done they made some tea for everyone and sat down on the sofa opposite to Caddis, Murayama and Irina. "Issei, are you sure about this?" asked Ingvald. "If they want to be with me they have to know the truth," replied Issei. "What truth?" asked Caddis. "I'm not human," said Issei. "What?" asked Caddis confused. "You two are the only humans here right now," said Valerica. "What do you mean?" asked Murayama. Valerica showed her 10 devil wings together with Ingvald while Irina showed her angel wings. Both girls had shocked faces. "Valerica and Ingvald here are half devils, half humans. While Irina, as you can see here, is an angel," said Issei. "Then what are you?" asked Caddis. "You sure want to know? Because from now on you will have to learn a lot about what's happening in this supernatural world and you will have to learn how to fight. The good thing is that you can wield swords already," said Issei. "Yes, we are sure," replied Caddis. "I'm the Red Dragon Emperor, me and my partner are 2 and only dragons of domination," said Issei as he unfolded his scaly wings with dark red fire on the tips. "Oh," said both girls. "I understand if you don't like me anymore, I just," Issei tried to say something, but both Murayama and Caddis jumped out of their seats and kissed Issei one after another. "Dummy, we still love you now, you're even cooler, a dragon and dragon of domination no less," said Murayama. "We want to always stay by your side," said Caddis. "Are you sure you aren't scared?" asked Issei. "Nope," replied both girls. Issei then hugged both girls tightly. "Can I touch your wings?" asked Murayama. "Sure, but I don't know about the fire," said Issei. Murayama and Caddis touched his wings and the fire too. But they didn't get burned by the flames, they were honestly relaxed because of them. "Wow, it's so warm, I love your wings," said Caddis. "Yeah, same here," said Murayama. The 3 remaining girls giggled at the scene and after a couple of minutes, both girls sat back down. "But I don't understand one thing," said Caddis. "What?" asked Irina. "Shouldn't devils and angels hate each other?" asked Caddis. "Well, not anymore because of Issei we have peace between the Christian factions," said Valerica. Both girls looked in awe at Issei. By the way, you said you are the Red Dragon Emperor? Asked Murayama. Yeah, why? Asked Issei. Then you are this generation's rival of the White Dragon Emperor? Asked Murayama. Wait, how did you? My father is one of the strongest exorcists, but he is retired now, so I'm aware of the supernatural. But before you were a human and only after a devil, but how did you become a dragon? Asked Murayama. Addis just looked at Murayama in shock, hearing that her friend was knowledgeable of the supernatural world was something she did not expect. After that horrible night I ran away into the forest where I hid in the cave. I got a dragonfall curse, and because my evil PCs got corrupted the curse process got accelerated, but it got worse as I activated the Juggernaut drive for the second time, which consumed more of my remaining life force. But Dragon Albion turned me into a dragon and purged the PCs later. Valerica became my mate to remove the curse after the drive was deactivated, explained Issei. Murayama nodded in understanding. Who's Drag? Asked Caddis. He's my partner and brother. You have a brother? Asked Caddis shocked. Yes, he's my brother by everything but blood weight. Now that I think about it, when I turned into a dragon he and Albion had to take my heart, so that means his and Albion's blood are pumping through my veins. Wondered Issei. Suddenly a red gauntlet materialized on Issei's left arm. That's right Issei, you are my family, now you are my brother, replied chuckling Drag. What? Why is that gauntlet talking? Asked stunned Caddis. He's the dragon who we're talking about, he's sealed into this gear, explained Issei. So that's your partner and brother? Asked Caddis. Yup. The one and only Drag. Why gosh, the Red Dragon Emperor and the Dragon of Domination, one of the two, soon to be three, great heavenly dragons. Hello mates of Issei, I'm Drag, introduced Drag with pride. By the way, Issei is the last Sekiruite because our souls are connected. When he dies, I die with him unless I'm out of the gear, said Drag. Wow, you really do care for him, said Murayama. Of course, he's my brother and he's the only host who treated me as a living being, not a tool, replied Drag. One of the heavenly dragons? Asked curious Caddis. Yes, there's a second one. Albion the White Dragon Emperor and the Dragon of Supremacy form a rival of Drag and my second brother, said Issei. Where is he now? Asked Caddis. In this room, replied Issei. Suddenly another pair of blue energy wings appeared on Valerica's back. Hello younglings, my name is Albion and I'm indeed Issei's second brother, introduced Albion with pride. Whoa, that's amazing, said Caddis. Yes, indeed two arch rivals became brothers, said Murayama impressed. Okay, now that that's over, how about we'll explain about the supernatural and what happened recently, said Issei as he began his explanation. Time skip. You went through so much, said Murayama. I just hope everything will be fine from now on, said Caddis. Sadly it won't until the Chaos Brigade is completely gone, plus I know who's the leader, said Issei as he looked at Valerica. What? Asked Valiana. Issei immediately hugged her as the confusion only grew for Valerica. I'm sorry but it's him, Rizavam, said Issei. Well what? That's not possible, said Valerica. Valerica couldn't hold her emotions in as her aura started to manifest in a violent way as her horrible memories flashed in her head. It's okay Val, we'll get him and end it once and for all, said Issei as he kissed her forehead. Valerica calmed down a bit but didn't release Issei. Who's the leader? Asked Caddis. Rizavam live in Lucifer, Valerica's scum of a grandfather. He killed her parents, he wanted to do the same to her after torturing her, and it was all because she was half human. Luckily when she killed him and escaped, Azazel found her and let her stay with him for years, explained Issei. Alright, it's getting late now so I think we should go and process all of the info, said Murayama. Alright, you didn't change your mind? Asked Issei. Nope. Oh and by the way give us our mark, said Murayama. Alright, come here, said Issei as he released Valerica and stood up. He then kissed Murayama and Caddis passionately for a couple of minutes and bit their shoulders. Red dragon mark appeared on Murayama's back while a mark appeared on Caddis's forearm. Wow. Looks cool, but how will we explain this to our parents? Only the supernatural can see the marks, explained Issei. But my father is an exorcist, reminded Murayama. Oh, that's right, I don't know, just hide it for now, it's not like he'll check your back or anything, unless he'll feel a magic presence there, or let me introduce myself to him, said Issei. I would rather not lie to my father, so if you could, said Murayama with her head turned away. Sure, just tell me when, said Issei as he gave her another short kiss. Will we be living here too? Asked Caddis. I mean you can if you want, I for sure would feel better knowing you here safe, said Issei. Alright, we will move in, but I don't know if this place has enough space though, said Caddis. It will be renovated by tomorrow after class, said Issei. Okay, bye then, said both girls as they left. Issei turned his head towards Valerica. You okay, my empress? Asked Issei a bit worried. Yes, let's just go to sleep darling, replied Valerica as she and Ingvild went to Issei's room. Issei then looked at Irina. I'll stay here for the night and tomorrow after school I'll go get my stuff from your old house, said Irina. Issei only nodded and he was about to get to his room until he remembered something. Hey Irina, why didn't you fall when you kissed me? Asked Issei. Well, actually that's why I was in heaven this whole time. They modified my ace card and now I can't fall because of lust. I'm what's called an hero angel now, said Irina as she whispered the last part a bit embarrassed. But you're my hero angel, said Issei as he kissed her. Plus when you go for your stuff I'll come with you, I want to talk to my parents, haven't seen them in a while, said Issei. Alright, said Irina as both of them went to Issei's room and all four of them fell asleep. The next morning came and Issei woke up to a heavenly sight. Valerica and Ingvild were to his sides, while Irina was sleeping on top of him with her head close to Issei. Issei kissed her forehead and Irina woke up. Morning my angel, greeted Issei. Good morning Issei. Irina greeted him back with a small yawn. The two other girls woke up and greeted Issei, then had a couple of minutes of make-out session before getting ready for school, the usual routine. As they walked to school they met up with Murayama and Kadis midway to school. They all entered the school and went to their class. Issei got plenty of jealousy looks from the guys. The guys gave him a new nickname. Now he's called a greedy dragon. That's because they say that Issei is stealing their ladies, but Issei of course ignored all that nonsense. As they entered the class kendo girls tried to tease their captains. Oh, are you two now dating Issei too? Teased one girl. Kadis and Murayama looked at them with big smiles. Yep, we are dating Issei, replied both girls proudly. Kendo clubs and other students' jaws dropped from the shock. Valerica, Ingvild and Irina just giggled. What are you giggling about, Irina? Asked Aika. I'm Issei's girlfriend too, said Irina. Well now I've seen everything, said Aika. Asia and Zenobia lowered their heads from sadness. After school, Issei and Irina walked toward Haidu's household. Before they parted with Valerica, Ingvild, Murayama and Kadis, he told them that the house should be renovated by now. He asked Azazel to do it in the morning and he gladly did it, well not himself, he sent some of his subordinates. Irina and Issei got to the front door of Issei's former house. Irina knocked on the door and Issei's mother opened the door. Oh hello, Irina, and who's this? Asked Mickey, not recognizing Issei, which was not surprising considering his appearance. If not for Issei's slightly leaking aura, Irina herself wouldn't have recognized Issei right away. That's Issei, said Irina cheerfully. Oh? Is he your boyfriend? Asked Mickey. Irina grew confused and looked towards Issei, who still had the same smile as when they came here, but she could see in his eyes he held a huge amount of rage, but mostly sadness. Yes, I'm her boyfriend, my name is Issei Pendragon, said Issei with a fake smile. He decided to use Arthur's last name for now. I'll be moving to his place so I came to get my stuff, said Irina as she went inside, not sure what just happened. She thought that his mother didn't recognize him because of his different appearance, but something clearly was wrong. Come on in, while you wait for her we can talk with some tea, said Mickey. Issei went inside and sat on the couch in the living room. So you have a son or a daughter? Asked Issei. Well, I have 5 beautiful daughters, but no son, said Mickey. I see, replied Issei with a fake smile. Suddenly Kaneko and Asia walked into the living room. Ah. Here are 2 of the mentioned daughters, said Mickey as she looked at Asia and Kaneko. Issei turned his head towards them with a smile which scared both of the girls. Hello. My name is Issei Pendragon, introduced Issei. Hello, I'm Asia Haidu, introduced Asia scared. I am Kaneko Haidu. Kaneko did the same while trembling slightly from fear. Don't mind them, they're just shy, said Mickey. 5 minutes later Issei remembered something he had to grab in his former room. I'll go see if she needs my help, said Issei as he stood up and walked towards the elevator. Sure, go on ahead, you should find her easily despite the size of the building, said Mickey with a kind smile which hurt Issei slightly. Issei went to his old room and as he entered he noticed that it was still being used by the girls because it was clean, the sheets changed, but the pillows were wet from what he thought were tears. He walked towards the now cursed bed where the incident happened, crouched down and took a cardboard box from under the bed. Just as he was about to open the box someone entered the room. Left something behind? Asked Irina as she walked in. Yeah, my grandfather left these for me, you remember me talking non-stop about the Yamato, said Issei as he took out 3 warship models from the box. Those ships were the Yamato-class warships, 2 battleships and 1 carrier, those were said to be the most powerful, heaviest, and largest warships in the world. Of course, I remember, I almost know as much as you about them just because you couldn't stop talking about them, replied Irina. Yeah, those were the days, said Issei as he put the models into his pocket dimension. They came downstairs as Issei carried Irina's bags. Let's go, Issei, said Irina. Sure, let's go my angel, replied Issei. Thank you for your hospitality, Mrs. Haidu, thanked Irina. It was no problem, Irina, take care, said Mickey as Issei and Irina left. They walked in silence until Irina decided to talk. Issei, are you okay? Asked Irina concerned. They stole my parents, they erased their memories of me, said Issei. Irina hugged Issei from the side. It's okay, Issei, everything will be fine, we can just go tomorrow to the club and ask them to remove the spell, said Irina with a gentle voice. They came back to the newly remodeled house and set up their stuff. Issei said that he needed some time alone and locked up in his room. When the other girls saw his door locked, Irina explained everything that happened not too long ago. The girls were furious. Not only those whores broke Issei and used him, now they stole his parents and erased him from their memories. They decided to wait for tomorrow to see how things will go in the orc. Thank you for watching part 3 of this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing and liking the video. I hope to see you in the next video.